What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the House of Nerd Show. Good morning. I'm your host. Well, you guys know me. I'm your host, Sergio. I'm rolling solo today. My man Marquelon. I don't know what's going on with the homie. He was supposed to be here. Nowhere to be found. So Marquelon, if you're out there, I hope everything is okay, bro. But thank you to everybody who's with us today, who's joining us. So bear with me, man, because I've never done this solo. I'm tripping out a little bit right now. So I'm gonna have to do all like the behind the scenes stuff and everything like that. But I'm excited to be here with you guys this morning, man. Running on low fuel. I got like a good 2 hours of sleep last night. So again, bear with me, everybody. I see there's a few of the homies in the live chats joining us. Keisha was the first one this morning. Keisha was going at, hey, good morning. How's everything going with you? I hope you're having a lovely, beautiful Sunday and the weather's dope wherever you're at. I see the main man, Philly Phil. Good morning to all the Han fam. Yes, big homie. What's going on, bro? What's going on? Hope everything's good in D-Town. Oh, I got the homies from the Spoiler Kings. What's going on, man? What's going on? Today we're talking Superman Lost. Superman Lost is our topic of discussion for today, folks. Hope you guys read it. If you didn't, you're gonna hear my thoughts, man. You know, I got some thoughts on that. Let's see who else is in the chats here. Man Cave Theaters always got love for the homies. Cheers, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna have a little sip of my coffee here. Oh man, this is a trip. I'm just hanging out with you guys, rolling solo. How's everybody doing this morning, man? How's everybody doing? What were your weekend plans, man? You guys laying low, chilling? Did you guys do it up, party? I'm in the middle of a move. So I couldn't get to as many of the reads that I wanted to, but I did make sure to get to Superman Lost, man. I think I started on the socials yesterday, man. You know, I haven't been seeing a whole lot of discourse people talking about this particular book. Here, let me throw it up. Actually, you know what? Let me throw that copper drop. So Lost, folks, Superman Lost #1 is our copper drop discussion read of the week. You know what time it is. Here we go. Copper drop. You know what it is, man. Actually, last week we didn't vote on it. Typically, you guys vote on our selections. Whoever's my co-host for the particular week. But last week was the Nerdies, which was our comic book award show. So we didn't have it. So I said, you know what? Here's an opportunity to start fresh, man. And we're starting it off with Superman Lost #1. This one is from no, I gotta pull up the banner. Here we go. There you go. Superman Lost #1 from writer Christopher Priest, on art Carlo Pagulayan, on inks Jason Paz, colors Jeremy Cox, and on letters Willie Schubert. I like that name. Willie Schubert. Yes. So folks, you can see the super dope, super stunning. Look at that the A cover on the left, man. That's just gorgeous. That's I believe that A cover is by the artist Carlo Pagulayan. Excuse me. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, man. And then you see that sweet variant on the right by Lee Weeks, man. I love his stuff, man. You know? So Superman Lost, featuring some super dope covers um on here. I'm gonna hit you with a little bit of oh, there's another credit. There's another credit I forgot to mention. There's a special thanks to a Mr. Dave Van Domelen, who's a PhD, who's a PhD, and we're gonna get into a little why I suspect he came into play into the story a little later on. So let me see what you folks are saying, man. Like I said, man, I'm trying to do this. It's very weird, man. It's very weird. Boom, boom, boom. What do we got here? Yeah, Spoiler King saying you started us down this independent comic road. Now we are hooked. Hey, man, shout out. I appreciate that, bro. It's so funny you say that. And then we're here talking a little big two action, man, which we don't get into too often. I mean, if at all, right? But this is DC, and this looked interesting, man. So, saying Superman Lost was off to a good start. Okay. Good morning, Fillmore. Hope everything is cool with you. And then Man Cave is getting right into it. He's getting right into it. What's he saying here? I felt lost by Priest. I felt lost by Priest was a cool setup. You can tell it's opening up the door for even more though. Issue even more though. Issue was not big business in his jump off, but the lead to more was there. Okay, buddy. And Man Cave saying that cover is for absolutely, man. I hope they drop a print of that. There was no version of this, but there was a minimal trade dress. But I love to see it just a straight up version of that. Or I think actually no, I think the 1 in 50 is a virgin. I'm not sure, or it might be the minimal. So I got a couple slides here for you folks. There you go. So Superman Lost #1. It opens up with something of a bit of a cold open, man. There's there's a police chase, and then Superman he rescues this this driver from a car accident, from getting involved in that police chase. But there's a bit of a twist. She finds, or they find, the authorities find $1 million in cash in the trunk of her car. And it turns out this person that Superman's rescued is the aide of a senator who's just resigned amid some kind of like a political scandal. So a little bit of like, real world elements in there, if you will. And then so it jumps to the next scene here. You see Lois and Clark. They're discussing this incident, right? This police chase, and then this young aide who's got $1 million in her trunk. And I really like this scene here because Priest does this, he does a really good job of portraying, the typical Lois cynicism, right? Versus Clark's, his optimism, man, right? So you've got this, like these personalities who one of the great things about the Lois and Clark relationship is, they really probably maybe it's a good example of opposites who attract, right? So that's cool. Priest does a great job on that. And then so here's a question I have for you guys. For those guys who are familiar with Priest, because it comes up a couple times here, in the beginning here, with like kind of dropping in these real world elements of like this, political climate and stuff like that. is that like a typical priest thing? Does he interweave like, real world circumstances often into his writing? Because I actually haven't read very much priest in my lifetime, man. I think a couple issues I looked, the Black Panther run, and then he did the Deathstroke. Oh, I did read some of that, but like, I think maybe like an arc of that. So, and it comes up a little later, so I don't know, if that's something that he likes to include into his writing style. So yeah, so it jumps to the next, it cuts to the next scene, which what I did notice is, and it was in his Deadpool was structured like this too. He's got like the chapters within the single issue, right? You can see that this one is titled the Stranger, and it reads very much like a like a TV or a film script, right? Which is cool. I dig. We got a comment here from Man Cave. It is his Black Adam run is a prime example. Oh, okay, so I suspected, yeah, because it does come up a couple times in this book alone, and from the little bit of discourse I've seen online, Priest definitely seems to have like carved his niche, right? He's definitely got like this style. So, I haven't checked out the Black Adam run. I didn't even know he wrote Black Adam, to be honest. So yeah, so you see the other great thing is, you see on the page there on the right, Priest, he really captures this kind of this sexual energy, this lovingness between Lois and Clark really well. They're trying to spend some time alone, a little bit of alone time, right? Clark's got to take off because he's called to like a mission by the Justice League. So he dips, seemingly only for a couple hours. Like, Lois passes out, she wakes up a couple. It says right there, hours later. But he comes back. And he's like a stranger in his own home, man. He like, you can see he's looking far off into the distance. He looks confused, lost, if you will, right? And shout out to Carlo and the rest of the creative team, because they do a really great job in this scene here on the right, of capturing Superman's this emotion of like where am I, like what's happened, right? And I think in the next slide, he's just staring off into space, man. So it was really unnerving as a reader. Like, I got this sense of like, what's going on, it was like, because Superman doesn't get shook, and like he's just kind of like almost like catatonic. Like, look at him, he's just Lois is like, yo, like, what's going on, like, you okay, right? So it was a trip to see, and I'm like, what could possibly have happened, right? Like, you don't really see Superman get unnerved too often, right? And then, of course, what happens at that very moment, you have Bruce Wayne come through, right? Of course, something is going on, something is up, and then a few feet away is Bruce Wayne. So he shows up, like, it feels like he's about to deliver some bad news to Lois. We don't know what, but then he's in this big he's shocked to see Superman. He's like, yo, what's going on? Okay, I wasn't expecting that. So that was cool. Oh, well, so Superman kind of goes into, he goes explaining like, what the mission was that he was called off to with the Justice League. And you see here this great double page splash, man. Again, really nice. I like that, like saturated colors. So again, shout out to the color Jeremy Cox, on art, on pencils Carlo, and then inks Jason Pazman. I thought this was really nice. It popped. And I'm gonna pause a quick second because this will give me the opportunity to say good morning and take a sip of my coffee. And for those just joining us, yeah, my co-host Marquelon, buddy, I hope you're okay, bro. Where you at, my man? It's 11 a.m. Eastern, my man. I don't know where he's at. Man Cave saying, you're right, that's an awesome setup of intrigue. Lifts up to the top. That's what I'm saying. Like it really those particular pages was really great, man. You know how they conveyed this sense of, like what is happening here, I thought was fantastic, man. Even like the body language, just really cool stuff. I mean, look at him, he's like what's going on, and it put this sense of like almost dread, like a fear, normally, Superman in any situation, you're like, he's got it, he's good, like nothing, nothing really surprises you. So that was great, that they were able to kind of elicit these emotions as a reader, right? Especially when it comes to Superman, right? He's like you never any sense of danger with this guy, which is one of the, I guess, one of the knocks on the character, right? In terms of when he's written, like what are the risks with this guy? What are the risks with this guy? But Priest and company, they managed to really quickly kind of let the reader know, like, this is, isn't a typical story here. So Superman, he's explaining to Lois, like, that he was called off on a mission to I think near the Philippines, like the South China Sea, that kind of area, which the artist Carlo happens to be Filipino, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I forgot. So he comes back, and Lois is like, here's this is the big kick. This is and I totally missed it. He comes back, and he's telling Lois and Bruce, he's like, yo, I've been gone 20 years. 20 years. So in Lois's in like real time is only like a couple hours, but he's saying like, nah, man, I've been gone 20 whole last years, and so Lois is upset, she's worried. Bruce is kind of in shock, and he kind of goes into, okay, this is what happened. So he's on the mission near the Philippines in the South China Sea, and what they're trying to do is the Justice League is trying to prevent all-out war from breaking out between China and the American government, right? There's some kind of like military like encounter skirmish. I think the Chinese, they're in waters, territories that they're not supposed to be. So you got the jets, the planes, and the boats and all that stuff. And so again, here's, to me, Priest kind of bringing in real world tensions and conflict that we're seeing these days. I think it was just a couple weeks ago, you have, which is great timing, actually. Think about it. A couple weeks ago, what was all over the news was like the what those satellites, those balloons, making incursions into like American and even Canadian airspace and things like that. So again, another example of Priest. I think this is what he does, right? And so the scene on the left was really, I wanted to touch on this because it was so much fun, guys. It was so much fun. it was a really great way of showing how the Justice League interact and the teamwork involved with each other, right? You know, because sometimes when you have a team book, the different characters, they get lost, right? So you have like the Flash up top. He's disrupting the Chinese satellites and targeting like the navigational systems and stuff by like with his static electricity, right? So that was pretty cool. Interfering and with creating like the sea turbulence, so like a vortex of water or something like that. And then Green Lantern is using his tractor beams to tow away the fighter jets. But what's really cool is that Priest, he does like a cool, he does a fun job of like sciencing like the different things. So Green Lantern is explaining like he's got to be careful. It's not an easy thing to just tow it with the willpower, with the green the tow lines, because the planes, you know, they're built for like maneuverability and speed, and so that makes them lightweight, which equals them being like fragile, right? And then you have Wonder Woman disrupting the fighter jets with her own invisible jet by crossing like the airstreams. Um, by crossing the airstreams, and then Martian Manhunter, you know, his thing is telepathic, right? So he's telepathically suggesting to the American pilots, like, you know, you got to disengage, man. Um, so just a great team dynamic. I thought that was a whole lot of fun, man. And the kind of the big reveal in this skirmish here, this mission that they're on, is that there's some kind of an alien object at the bottom of the sea that's creating a singularity, right? Like some kind of like a gravitational black hole type situation. I'm trying to think of. I mean, we see it in sci-fi flicks. After Man of Steel, Man of Steel. You know when they collided the two airships, right, and it created the singularity, the black hole. So similar premise, right? And they decide, along with Soups, decides, hey, you know, really, I'm the only one who can take the risk and to try to stop the singularity, because it's getting larger and larger, and it's gonna devour the planet eventually, right? So it's like catastrophic on a like earth destroying level. So Superman and everybody else, they agree, like, listen, you're the only one who can go in there, try to stop it, and potentially survive. So he goes in, but he disappears, right? He stops the singularity, but he disappears. And I guess that's kind of where the story ends, and he's gone 20 years. And like Man Cave is saying, what happened in those 20 years is what grabbed me and has my interest. Absolutely. So for me, overall, the book, like I really enjoyed like the premise, and kind of how it happened, you know, with this quantum singularity. And then, so I was touching on earlier, the book gives credit to, what was his name, uh a Dr. Dave Van Domelen, who's a PhD, right? So during this whole, they're describing in the book this singularity, they're talking about like Hawking radiation bursts, and superliminal velocities, like really sciencey stuff. It was really cool how it was done. Like, you know, if you're at all familiar with this stuff, or if you're not at all familiar with this stuff, it might go a little over the head, but I thought it was fun. Overall, man, I I really enjoyed this one, man. I really enjoyed it. And so again, I posed a question on Twitter, man. I said, you know, for those who have read it, what did you guys think? And bare comments, just, oh, this was good, this was great, you know. Like, I think 99% of the comics were positive towards this. So you know, I tend to agree. I thought it was great. I do have a few, you know, kind of critiques or criticisms. Some of the coloring, like the backgrounds, it seemed like really flat, if that makes sense. There was like no depth, or I should say better, there's no texture to it. And that happened often. Let me see if I can find a panel, not to just point out the negative stuff, but like, yeah, I mean, like the on the left there, man, like just I just find a lot of the background is lacking like a texture. Not that one. That's pretty fucking dope. Um, but and then the lettering, when particularly when the Justice League is kind of interacting with each other, I did find a little confusing, maybe a little lost. Who which speech bubbles belong to which character? So I thought maybe the letter could have maybe creatively done something a little bit different with the lettering to better indicate who's talking. But overall, man, yeah, like I had fun with this one. And I think for me, it's definitely, I'm saying it's a cop. I think you guys check it out if you're a fan of superhero books or Superman. Um, yeah, definitely interesting. I have a feeling issue number 2 will be the make or break for me. And I did see some other comments online, folks saying something similar. Um, so yeah, man, definitely cop it, check it out, man. Had a whole lot of fun. Shout out to Christopher Priest, Carlo Pagulayan on art, Jason Paz on inks, on colors, Jeremy Cox, and the homie Willie Schubert on letters, man. You guys all did great, man. I thought it was vibrant, fun, cool story, man. And yeah, man, I mean, it has me wanting to check out Priest's other stuff. Though I will say, I'm not necessarily a fan of I guess like real world elements coming into play, in specifically with superhero comics. I kind of want to leave all that shit behind. I don't know about you folks, right? Do you like that kind of stuff, man? For me, especially when it comes to superheroes, in particular, I just give me like, I don't know, bombastic, storylines. And it wasn't, not that it was overwhelming, but he does kind of bring in, little political things and conflicts, like real world conflicts. I mean, but other than that, like I said, good writing, man. And I encourage everybody to check this one out, man. And for sure, I think cover price $5. You're getting like a solid, I want to say like 30 pages of story, man. So you can't go wrong, man. And then again, you got these a couple amazing, and then there's some other variant covers too. Really, really gorgeous, man. Just love it, man. Just love it. So what are you folks saying here? Let me see here. Oh, we got. I don't know if I gave a shout out to Miss Filmer. What's going on? What's going on, Tara? I hope everything is good, man. You know, Spoiler Kings. Everybody. So you see, this is the great thing. You guys are so friendly, man. You know. And then Man Cave saying, for me, I like that realism added to the character development, not the plot itself. Okay. Okay, so you like those kind of the realistic elements added, eh? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, another positive I want to say. Christopher Priest really kind of nails uh the voice of Superman and who he is. There was a great line. Let me see if I can find it in my notes here. There was a great line when he's talking about going into the singularity. Uh when they're deciding who's got to go in, and he's explaining to Lois, because Lois is kind of mad at Bruce Wayne, right? Like, why'd you allow him to go in? And then, Superman Clark is saying, Bruce didn't send me. Jor-El sent me, Martha Kent sent me, so like going back to his roots. Just, yeah. So overall, I think this is Christopher Priest's first time writing a Superman book. I thought it was great, man. I thought it was great. So encourage, again, everybody to check it out. And yeah, so it's a cop, folks. Go ahead and pick it up. It's a 10-issue miniseries. So I mean, you can't go wrong. Yeah. At least if you're kind of on the fence about number one, pick up number two and then see where it goes. Like I said, me personally, yeah, issue number two tend to make or break a series for me. Second half of Copper Drop, folks. Second half of Copper Drop is normally I'd have someone else. We're both pitching a book to you, so I really, it's a win-win for me. So I'm gonna pitch to you guys two books, and you guys get to vote on which new comic book day release from next week we're gonna discuss on Sunday's show. So let me see. My first book up, first option for you guys. Pop Up. This is from a little super indie publisher called Blood Moon Comics, and I'm gonna hit you folks with a bit of a synopsis here. So this is what we're being told: a brand new pop-up museum has arrived. It contains the world's most infamous and cursed supernatural objects. For creator and starving artist Diane Strickland, this is her big break. Tomorrow's the grand opening, and she and her family must work through the night to make sure it's all ready. But what do you get when you bring so many evil exhibits together? Absolute terror is what we're being told. So yeah, you got some kind of a pop-up museum that includes these cursed supernatural objects, man, and apparently shenanigans are gonna ensue, man. And this one is written by John Clark, on art Matthew Pereira. Hey, listen, it sounds pretty cool. Looking forward to digging that, and I'm trying to let's see what these smaller publishers are cooking up, man. And then let me see. The next one, folks. The next option is The Curse of Cleaver County. And the synopsis for this one, this is from Source Point Press. You guys know they're printing, actually, nerdy award-winning Jonathan Hedrick. They're publishing his Kickstarter for Caffeinated Hearts. Excuse me. They're publishing that. I want to say maybe next month. I think it's next month. And then they did Darling a couple years back, which was just a stellar book. If you guys haven't had the chance to check out Darling, really good, man. So the premise on The Curse of Cleaver County, number one, from Source Point Press, set in the one of the deadliest fictional locations in the world. That is written weird. The Curse of Cleaver County is an ongoing anthology series that follows some of the most grotesque, gruesome, and gore-fueled killers as they hunt, horrify, and harrow the peaceful residents. This issue, The Hooked Horror of Harlow, begins here, and it goes on to say Jennifer Harlow heads home to celebrate the sale of her father's business, but dark secrets from Port Harlow's past are about to resurface that threaten everything her family's built over the last 50 years. Okay. So the writer on this one is a gentleman by the name of Garrett Gunn. On art is Kit Wallace. Who are the other and those are the only credits that we're given right now. So Source Point Press, man, they're belting out heaters. Curious to see that one as well. Give me a sec, folks, and I'm gonna put up the poll for you guys to vote. Before I do that, let me read some of these comments here. What's going on? We got Cookie Monster saying, I don't think I've read anything from Blood Moon. I'm intrigued. Yes. Oh, and hold on. We got a guest. In the house. hold the thought, Cookie. Hold the thought, and Tara as well. She's intrigued by Blood Moon. Yo, Marquelon, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, man?
My man, what time zone you in? What time zone you in, bro?
Man, I'm in Central Time.
Oh my God, what happened, man? Are you okay, bro?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
You gave me a time, but the time is shifted too.
The time, yeah, but that was last week. We shifted the hour last week, man.
Yeah, but you've been earlier.
No, 11 a.m. start time. The folks at home know this. The folks at home know it. 11 a.m. Eastern every week. But it's okay. I'm glad you're good, my man.
Yeah.
I did the Superman last.
Oh man, that's what I specifically was coming in for that.
But you know what? Honestly, I wanna hear your thoughts. So we're gonna revisit.
Okay.
I was just pitching the two Copper Drop selections. The first one being Pop Up from Blood Moon Comics. Here it is. And I was telling the folks, super indie publisher, Marquelon. So I wanted to check out. I want to see what they're up to. This looks, the premise sounds interesting. And then the second selection is The Curse of Cleaver County from Source Point Press. So two smaller indie publishers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to converse with the audience for a second, it use perfect timing because now you give me the opportunity to throw up the poll so the fine folks at home can vote on the two picks, man. Here we go, and then just bear with me here, guys.
All right.
Just pull
Look, yeah, converse with the audience. Well, I apologize. Like I said, my time is completely off, and I'm like, wait a minute, because I did my normal morning routine. I was like, and I actually had some good comments to go through as well. But we talked on Twitter about Superman Lost as well. So there's that part. I'm like, yeah. And now, so your message, you coming through? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. And my alarm is actually going off to let me know to get on the show. That's what y'all just heard. Yeah, man. But it's been good. But I will say about that Superman Lost. We talked about it on Twitter initially. And I was like, I didn't know what it was about, Sergio, at all. I just knew Christopher Priest was writing. And I actually saw BJ Kicks from Comics is Dope talking about it first. I heard it was a new Superman book, and I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but I generally participate in Superman, I jump on it off. But I saw it was Priest was writing as well. Okay, I'm a big fan of Christopher Priest from the Black Panther days. Mm-hmm. I actually, I'm currently subscribed to his Black Adam series, which is really about both. Oh, Cookie said, thank you. Hey, film yet. Look, I picked out a background and everything for y'all. I was like totally prepared to come in, like get everything together, everything. But my time was just off.
And not to digress too much, but so I didn't hear anything about did they win? Did they clean sweep at the
everything
Oscars?
All at once? Everything everywhere all at once won like 7 Oscars, man. Michelle Yeoh won.
Wow. What did they win? What were the big ones?
Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor. So yeah, all of them.
Okay, that's good, man. Good to hear. That was one of my favorite films of 2022, man. So
man, real talk, word of mouth. Once again, I saw the trailer from that. Looks interesting. I'm a big fan of Michelle Yeoh from the Super Cop days. Is that the movie she was in with I could think it was not Jet Li, Jackie Chan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
I think she was in Super Cop with him. If it wasn't Super Cop, I know Wing Chun. Mm-hmm. That's one of my old school Michelle Yeoh. And then she started getting more mainstream when she did James Bond movie. Mm-hmm. So I remember all my friends, who is this fine lady? And of course, most recently, she's been on Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery, I was like, man. So I was so happy for her to do it. And she's apparently the first woman of Asian Asian background to win of the Best Actress category.
Oh, wow. That's pretty
cool. And then I'm in Birmingham. So the local connection right there is the Daniels who directed that. One of them is actually from my hometown or where I live at now, And, we have a local film festival here called the Sidewalk Film Festival. He actually participated in that when he was in high school here. So like it's really big for my hometown. People are like, oh yeah, man, a director, somebody from our, from here, actually won an Oscar for best director, and he won Best Picture.
That's pretty cool, man.
Hey,
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so they won Best Director, Best Picture, so they took home some of those big awards. Yeah, for whatever reason, it never really came across, or maybe I've been too busy, but I didn't catch any of the Oscar stuff. So that's good to hear, man. Yeah, and then of course, how about Buddy from Goonies? Because I know he was
that's
nominated.
him. I can't think of what his real name is. I think it's
Ke Huang something.
Yeah,
let me
I mean that is such a great story right there. I mean, I love that story because he had quit acting, because I knew him originally from Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, and then most people know him as from Goonies,
Data,
and then of course he was an Encino Man, which came on TV last night. As a matter of fact,
was he in? Oh my God, he wasn't Encino Man, but he was older at that point, like a young man.
Yeah, he used to be on. You remember this show? I don't know if you may have seen it up there, but it's called Head of the Class. He used to be on Head of the Class too.
He was in Head of the Class.
Yeah, he was one of the students in Head of the Class.
Okay.
I remember his name on Head of the Class was like Jasper Cornwall. I remember that. And apparently, he couldn't book roles, or he was only getting certain type of roles. Because sometimes for the Asian community, it's like you get booked in a certain kind of role, and I don't want to play the stereotypical roles.
Yeah. You're what's the word? You're typecast, right?
Yeah, typecast.
Yeah.
So,
𝐂𝐨𝐦𝐞 Kwan.
Yes,
probably butchering that, but yeah, man. His story was great. When I realized who he was the first time I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, because for me, Goonies is one of my all-time favorites. It's a great 80s flick, and I'm a big Goonies fan. So it was great to see him after not seeing him, in Hollywood for so long. And so he ended up winning. You're saying?
Yeah, he won.
That's dope. That's
and
cool.
In fact, he's going to be on. I just saw he's going to be in some show. He's already getting cast for other stuff. It was some genre show I was looking at the other day that he's going to get cast in. I don't know. Is it Stranger Things? It's something.
Didn't I hear he's gonna be in a Marvel film now or something? So he's blowing up.
No, he's gonna be in Loki season 2. I think that's
Loki.
Okay, that's what I was. It was some genre stuff I just saw.
Okay,
the other day.
That's cool, man. So good for him, man. Yeah. I mean, that's great. I'm happy to hear that.
I mean,
was getting the love. Right?
The whole thing was good. I mean, I watched it again, like pretty much on Hulu. Yeah, Head of the Class with Richard Pryor's daughter. Yep. Hold on, who's it? Yep. Rain Pryor.
Really, eh? Head of the Class. You know what? Let me Google that right now.
Yeah, man, Google Head of the Class.
I can't picture it for some reason.
Yeah, the guy used to play on. Do you remember another old show? And see, I was one of those kind of latchkey kids. So when you came home, you had to like watch TV and stuff like that. So all the reruns and stuff would come on. So I see it, and then you had Nickelodeon and Nick at Night. They would play all these different shows. Well, Kate would play all these old shows. I would see him. It was a dude from WKRP in Cincinnati. He was like in New York.
Okay, yeah. You know what, Marquelon? I do like, yeah, I recall this now. I didn't really watch it too tough like that, but okay. Yeah. So he was in this, eh? I'm trying to find. Oh, let me see if I can screen share. I can't find them in the here. We're gonna have a little bit of fun, folks. We're going off the rails here a bit, but
yeah, it is my fault, folks, because like I said, time changed. I got my time mixed up, so that's me. But this is what makes the House of Nerds so innovative, because you never know what's going to happen.
Listen, bro, you never know. So where's he at? Because I can't.
I don't see him in that picture. That's the original cast photo.
Yeah, let's see if we can find our buddy.
He was a later addition to the cast.
Oh yeah, okay. Damn, no love. They couldn't put him on the poster, eh?
Well, I'm sure they're gonna claim him now. Whoever
now they're gonna claim him, yeah.
I mean, but he was on there, gosh darn it. I mean, if you look at Head of the Class, the guy that played, like, let me just look at your picture. All right, so the bottom row right there.
Yeah.
So you see Robin Givens, of course, and then that's Dan Schneider, who got famous doing all these Nick shows like iCarly and all that stuff, but now he's in trouble because apparently he harassed these girls. And you go,
and that's Richard Pryor's daughter on the left, eh?
I can't even see who that is. That may be her. But you see at the bottom of the guy with the leather jacket and the glasses?
Yeah.
That's like Brian Toppins. He ends up becoming like this big time producer director as well. He like does Smallville and all. Like he's the guy that helped bring Smallville to there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people from this show ended up doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, pretty cool. Good. Happy for him. Yeah. Well deserved, man. Well deserved. And here, sorry guys, I'm missing your. I had forgotten he was on head of the class. Totally got teary eyed when he won. For sure, it's a great story, man. And I'd like to think that that he won it on merit, which he deserved to win it on merit, and because the cynical in me is like, maybe they wanted to create that feel good, like a storyline almost. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think so, or I hope not, man. I think he just deserved, man. It was good. Short round.
That's what I know him from. Short round from India. Dr. Jones, he's Indy. I love you.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is amazing because Steven Spielberg, he directed or he produced for that,
So I now have to YouTube his winning speech. Cookie saying I was practically sobbing. His speech was so good.
It was. He was like, man, just never give up because you never know.
Tara saying, girl, say my ugly cry. Okay, that's cool, man. By the way, folks, the poll is up for Copper Drop, and I think currently, overwhelming majority saying pop up right now. I got 83% of the vote, which is cool. To be honest, I was kind of hoping you guys would vote for that. So cool. And then we'll let you guys know who the winner is at the end of the episode. So Marquelon, so I was talking about, we were talking earlier about Superman Lost, the debut issue of the 10-issue miniseries. Christopher Priest on writing duties, Carlo Pagulayan on art, and then who were the here? Let me pull up the other creators. Jason Paz on inks, Jeremy Cox on colors, and then Willie Schubert on letters. So I know you had mentioned you're a big Priest fan. What did you think of this book as a standalone Superman series? And maybe share your thoughts on so far. I know it's only one issue,
right?
But how it stacks up to maybe some of his other works.
I mean, like I said, I'm a Priest fan, but you got to realize if you're a Priest fan, there's certain things you're gonna see in every Christopher Priest book, like his little captions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He does like that. That's like a Spike Lee, like a Spike Lee film. You see people floating in a Priest book. You will see these like captions. I see you got them illustrated right there.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've ever seen Priest take on Superman directly. Maybe in a Justice League story or something like that, but I don't think we've seen Priest take on directly. Now, what immediately caught me about the book was how, I'm trying to think of a better adjective, but intelligently it flowed. I can tell it's a complex story, or it's going to be a complex story, but it's going to have some kind of emotional heart. Because what we know right now is, hey, it's a day in the life of Superman, Justice League, they stopping threats and stuff like that. But then we get to the point where, hey, the Justice League is coming to like tell Lois, say, hey, I'm sorry he died. And, he comes back like, yeah, I've been gone like 20 years. And from this panel you're showing right here, you can tell he's shook by whatever happened to him or whatever he experienced in that time. You just don't know what it is yet.
So, Marquelon, I said the exact same thing.
And see, and this shows because I completely was not. We hear Sergio.
Yeah,
I completely like, did not see any of it.
So that's what had me so, and I think the word I used was, it was unnerving to see Superman in this state, because you are wondering, and this is, and I said, what has Superman shook like that? We don't see him, easily like frazzled, right? So it really Priest and the rest of the guys did a great job of kind of conveying this seriousness, like Superman, like what's he been up to, like where is he at, like why is he in this kind of state of mind right now, right? So yeah, I thought that was great. And then you see here this I like that shot there. He's just kind of staring off into the distant, right? But Lois is kind of Like, you know, he's just almost like, you know, in a catatonic state, you know, frozen, right? So that was really good, man. Yeah.
And you know what? I think this will make this book stand out. For one, I'm gonna say this to be fair. This is definitely gonna be, it's a priest book, so you're gonna have to commit for the long haul. Most priest books read better in one sitting when you binge it in long hauls. I'm gonna tell everybody that now, because you know, in the Twitter sphere, people, oh, I don't understand, I hate it. And I'm like, it's not gonna be, just give it a chance. And you gotta understand what you're going to in the front end.
Yeah.
And two, for me, the best Superman stories, I mean, I like to see Superman beat the hell out of people too, but the best Superman stories are like for all his powers and everything he can do, when he can't do something, when he can't help somebody, when he can't save someone, when he still, you know, is I want to say hurt, but traumatized may be a better word. Those are the best Superman stories, you know.
Yeah.
To me. Now, of course, I don't know, Serge, if you saw the traffic, it was like, you know, John Ridley wrote a story, Superman Red, White, and Blue, maybe about a year or two ago.
Yep.
Everybody's talking about this story because, you know, John Ridley is like the writer everybody loves to hate now. And I hadn't seen this level of hate on a writer since like Chuck Austin in the early 2000s on X-Men, but people hated him. But they were like, he just loves to traumatize them. And I read that story. I didn't quite get it, you know, at the time I read it, but going back, apparently Superman lost his powers and he was in this kind of Ukrainian prison camp and he got victimized, you know, was a nice way of saying it.
Oh, I do remember that. That was a whole crazy, discourse on that particular,
you know. But you know, but it was still interesting because you could see Superman show a range of emotions he's never shown before. Because Superman is not normally vulnerable, and he's not normally traumatized, and that's what helps Superman. You know, because you know, bottom line, Superman could easily be Homelander or Omni-Man, but what makes Superman is the fact that he actually cares about people, you know, and that he can relate to people being hurt and being vulnerable. That's what makes him Superman.
Yeah. It's the emotional stuff, right? I mean, the action, his abilities are cool, right? But it's, you know, the love. I think it comes from, you know, like the emotional, like the value added stuff.
And then, Serge, I just got an idea, man. We ought to do what are your favorite Superman stories? We ought to do a segment on that. Like, what are your favorite Superman stories?
A lot of good ones to choose from, man.
I know, but I'm curious to see what everybody would submit, though.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see that, you know, because I could think of like 2, 3 off the top of my head, you know.
You know, I recently revisited American Alien. That it was like it was like a bunch of short stories, right? Collection, but they were sequential in Superman's early from his early childhood to his early career as Superman, and that was really I thought that was great. It was talked about, I think, quite a bit when it came out, but you don't hear it brought up often as one of the better Superman books. I think it's up there, man. It's good.
I think what everybody considers the best Superman story is probably Whatever Happened to the Man Tomorrow. I think Alan Moore, you know, basically the last silver age Superman story, you know, which, you know, a lot of times your homeboys and people will put you on comments. And my homeboys older than me, like 6 years older, man. I remember it was like 10 day comments. They're like, put me on stuff. I need you to read this, man. And I mean, they just kept telling me about it. You know, the standout moment in that comic book is basically when, you know, because the Legion of Superheroes, basically, I think the premise of the Legion of Superheroes basically comes like, hey, today is the day you're finna die. We know this. It's recorded in history, and then you can do about it. And Superman kind of goes, you know, making his rounds to like tell everybody, like, hey, you know, I love you and I'm about to die, stuff like that. But I think the best scene in that book is where somebody's like, hey, you know, Superman basically, you know, he's been in his trophy room in Fortress of Solitude and he's with Crypto and he's been crying. And it's like, you know, it's like you'll see that scene a lot of time, you know, where Superman's like with his head down, he's been crying. I mean, you know, can you imagine seeing Superman cry?
Yeah.
You know he's about to die, ain't nothing he can do.
It hits stuff like that. It hits. What is it, Marquelon, about seeing a vulnerable Superman? I think because he's maybe, or I guess the knock. I think, and I mentioned it earlier, the knock against him or the critique is that he's, you know, unrelatable. So when we see him kind of, you know, vulnerable, maybe as a reader makes him more relatable to us. I don't know, and people tend to like that kind of stuff.
Sergio, you just definitely hit on the nail. I mean, Superman is, people say Superman, think about it. For a long time, I mean, before you and I were even around, Superman was the most popular character of all time. Spider-Man pops up, and then, Batman gains this popularity again.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are like, well, Superman's lame, or he's weak, or he's overpowered. That's what I love about those stories, though, man. It was a story, and my mom told me to announce this today too. Somebody recently stole my entire comic collection. It's terrible. So I can't go find it. I can't go find this issue, but it was an issue where Superman used to meet this cop in this diner, like every so often for coffee and stuff like that. It's a black cop, which caught my attention. I'm like, what's Superman telling this black cop for? And how he had saved this cop's life, and basically they would come. It basically was like Superman first started his career in Metropolis. He saved this cop. Cop met him in like this diner for coffee and stuff like that. And they would do it over the years.
That's awesome. Where's that from?
It's either from Superman or Action Comics. It's the early 2000s. I remember that much.
Early 2000s. I'm trying to, because it sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, and and basically, the cop was always like, well, I know you'll always be there to save me. He becomes friends with this cop, and he just liked having somebody to talk about because this is an early swimmer in his career where he doesn't really know what he's doing. So the cop is like, well, look, man, things are gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to save everybody, but the cop is kind of mentoring him on how to be a hero, essentially, and and still balance out having a normal life.
That's great, yeah.
And and it ends basically where the cop's like, well, I know you're always better to save me, and of course he doesn't get there. Well, first what happened was everybody found they were meeting, so he had to basically stop meeting with the cop because like the place where they're meeting, the coffee shop, was getting swarmed by groups of people and stuff like that, so they had to stop because of that. And he hated that because he needed that kind of Superman, needed that outlet to talk to people. And the second thing was the cop died. And Superman was like, and it turns out Superman's reading this letter at the funeral. The whole time that the cop is narrating the issue, he's reading the letter at the cop's funeral.
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah.
I was like, damn, that just hit me there, man.
For sure. You were asking some what are folks' favorite Superman stories. We had a couple answers here.
Right, I see it now. Go ahead.
Figure drawing saying Doomsday Clock was interesting. I honestly, man, I think Doomsday Clock got the short end of the stick because of the delays, and then
I agree.
DC changed because it was really supposed to be like the tentpole title to move the DC forward, and then DC changed their plans of what they wanted to do. But I at the end of the day, the story itself, I thought it was really good. The art in that book by Frank and Brad Anderson is some of the best stuff I've ever seen. I personally, I love Doomsday Clock. So I'm not mad when I see folks put it. And then Man Cave agreeing. He's saying Superman versus Manhattan was dope. Yeah. And then Man Cave saying he likes World War by Philip Kennedy Johnson, which is a recent title. Ruben Gomez saying Death and Reign of Superman, of course. Okay. Yeah, you can't go wrong with it, with the old school classics, man. And then boom. Figure drawing. He's concerned, bud. He's concerned about your collection getting stolen, man. Yeah.
Man, yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm renovating my house. It's a long story. But basically, I had to put a new roof on my house, and I hadn't been, there for a while. And, all the stuff got wet in my house. So that was already damaged right there. But my comic books never got wet, surprisingly. And apparently, I had a lock box on my house, and contractors kind of going in and out. And somebody, I think, was crashing in my house and just stole my comic collection. And my mom was like, I think it's that last contract you had, because I had him go do some work for her too, and she felt like he tried to cheat her and stuff like that.
That's right.
But he was the last person I let go in my house before that happened. I called the police and everything, but they I gave him his name and number, but I never heard anything.
Yeah, something like that. Just it's rough. I told you when you first told me, man. I feel your pain. Like that hurts. I can only imagine what that felt like, man. I know I'd be like so cheap. I'd probably cry.
I mean, I was about to cry. I didn't cry. I basically sat down for a day. It felt terrible.
Oh,
but the best thing somebody said to me was the guy who put me under this Marcus, my friend who put me on Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. He said, man, look at it this way, man. You get to build a whole new collection now.
Glass half full. I mean, yeah. It's
So,
terrible. That's a bad beat, man. Yeah. And then back to the Doomsday Clock. Yeah, figure drawing. The delays were rough, you know. Yeah, they were. You know, unfortunately, it kind of broke up the momentum, and then people lost interest. But I think at the end of the day, you know, you read that book, especially like the collected editions. It's top tier, man. It's top tier. I mean, Jeff Johns, he does his thing. But back to Superman last Mark. So some of the things, what were some of the things that you liked about it? You know, I spoke on Priest, how he portrayed Superman and Lois's dynamic, their relationship. Any things you didn't enjoy about the book?
No, I mean, I didn't. I mean, it's nothing I didn't enjoy. It's a Priest book, so I'm looking forward to getting to see Priest, you know, do what he's gonna do, you know. But what I did like, I'm glad you commented on Lois, because Lois comes off as so, I don't want to say intelligent and just well-rounded. It's just like, I like their relationship, man. You know, just the conversations they have. You know, we get a Priest book, they're throwing in quotes and stuff like that. I like that kind of relationship they have. You know, I like that. You know, we get to see Lois writing her story and stuff like that. And people always kind of make fun of Lois Lane is this naturally good reporter, but apparently she can't spell, or she's always misspelling stuff, or she always needs help. But she's just naturally good investigative journalist.
Yeah, that's the running gag. Lois can't spell for shit, but she's a great investigative journalist. I think Priest did a great job in the characterizations of Soups. Captured his voice, you know, great. You know, he captured Lois as well. I was telling the audience before you jumped on, I said I really love this one, man. You know, I thought it was a whole lot of fun. There's a few things I had issue with, but nothing that was a deal breaker. A shout out, Man Cave Man. Appreciate you coming through. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, man. Always appreciate the love that you show the channel, man. Have a blessed Sunday, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And the Spoiler Kings are back in the house. Yes, sir. What's going on, gents?
What up, Spoiler Kings?
Yes, sir. I think the only thing that I kind of criticized Marquelon about this was some of the real world elements that are brought in. I was saying that particularly in superhero comics, I don't want to read about like politics. Not that it goes heavy. It really doesn't go, and I don't want people to misunderstand. It doesn't go heavy into politics or anything like that. But there's elements of that stuff in there, and same like even like the conflict in South China or the Southeast Asia. Other than that, and some of the colors in the background looked really flat to me. Like actually, you can see it here on the page on the right. You know, there's no texture, there's no depth to it, and
I love to hear your artistic analysis. I love that though. I love it though, because I can tell, because you get so passionate about it. That's why I love it though.
Hey man, maybe I over dissect the books too much, but yeah, just especially when it comes to art, like I know I pick up on things like that. So, but other than that, I thought it was a strong debut issue, man. Yeah.
It is, man, and I think your statement about the politics and comics, I mean, that Priest is a smart guy. I mean, this guy's like a minister, and he's done a lot of different things, a lot of different places, businessman and all that kind of stuff. I think he tries to educate his readers, because like, this may be the only time I get to talk about this may be the only exposure you get to talk about stuff like that. The only time comic book readers may get exposed to this kind of material. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned a lot from reading comic books. I kid you not. I learned about evolution and genetics from reading comic books. And most comic books are written on like a college level now, is my understanding.
Yeah. I will say, Priest, I haven't read much. I did read some of the Deadpool run. I read a couple issues of Black Panther back in the day. But he does, just from this issue alone, he really comes off and in a good way as an intelligent writer, man. Like he seems very smart, man. So I mean, obviously, I feel what's your verdict on this, Marquelon? Is a cop or a drop?
It's a cop. I'm gonna cop it, but I'm gonna
Right.
cop it with the caveat that
Oh, yeah.
yep. I'm gonna cop it with the caveat you need to commit for all 10 issues, and you got to realize it's gonna be a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think Priest tends to stick his endings, which is so weird because we're in this MCU, DCU, everybody has an opinion on every comic book. Because Sergio, you on Twitter like I'm on Twitter. People like talk about comics, and now see people like, you hadn't even read this book. You hadn't read anything, so how can you comment on it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say you got to realize who you're dealing with when you go into it. All right.
Okay.
Every issue may not be a banger, but you may be able to go back later on and read the whole thing like, man, that was really good.
So fair to say that maybe typical with his writing, the sum of his parts are greater than maybe the individual. Like it's best read,
Yeah, definitely that. But and Sergio, as comic book fans, that's the kind of thing we deal with, man. Like some things are actually read better in one sitting, but
for sure, I agree.
You don't support it, you won't get that content. So you have to support it on a monthly level.
I hear you. I'm with you on that, my man.
So I'm like, people, I'm just gonna wait for the trade. I'm like, well, if you don't buy it, there may not be a trade. They may not continue the issue. They may cut it. You and I both seen that before in comic books.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, you gotta go out and support these creators, man. These books. You want to see more of them? Pick them up. That's it, man. Figure Drawing saying currently. Oh, excuse me. Currently, Dan Mora is killing it with World's Finest. Yeah, his art is he's kind of someone that I've overlooked a bit, to be honest, Dan Mora, but his stuff is great, man. He's got this really sleek style, eh?
I mean, and like I said, World Finest surprisingly well. The last issue of World Finest I read was the one with Superman, where Robin and Supergirl went on a date. That was hilarious. I actually enjoyed that.
Okay.
I really did, and I'm a Mark Waid fan. Mark Waid also from Birmingham, Alabama. He's also from my town.
So well represented.
Hey man, but that Dan Mora, man, for me, it's gonna always be. Was he the one on Once and Future, Sergio?
Yes, sir.
Man, Once and Future was my book, man. Action fantasy at its fullest.
Yeah.
Love Once and Future. People get got in Once and Future.
I've always heard really good things about it. I've never had. It's one of those books I never had the chance to check out. I think in part because I don't have I'm not really a fantasy guy, right? So
I'm not a fantasy guy either. That's the weird thing about it. Rick Remender has a fantasy series. I started, but I just can't because I'm not a fantasy person. I can't do it.
Remember fantasy?
7 Guns.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is it 7 to Eternity?
7 to Eternity.
Yes, sir.
That's a fantasy series, and because it's fantasy. Any of my people who watching this, Marcus, Kevin, y'all know in particular that they be like, you need to read this more, this more than need to read the Lord of the Rings. I'm like, I ain't reading it at all. Not like I don't mess with fantasy, which is why I'm not the biggest Game of Thrones fan either. It's fantasy.
Okay. Yeah. Ruben's saying he still needs to read Priest's Deathstroke run. Yeah.
Definitely do that, man. I mean, somehow I lost track of it because I think my LCS at the time wasn't continuing to care. But Priest did a lot of things with Deathstroke in that run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like, I'm just gonna take Deathstroke from here to there, and a lot of character development, a lot of building out different characters, but that's what Priest does.
Yeah, I enjoyed what I read. I think I read maybe the first arc, and then it's just one of those series that kind of just it got lost in the mix with. It was at a time I was pulling way too much, man. So, and good morning to Joey Paquette. What's going on, my man? I hope everything is well with you. How's the weather over in Quebec, man? You guys, the weather turning finally? I think it's starting to here, man. I hope so.
Is Joe up there in Canada with you?
What's that, bud?
Is Joe up in Canada with you?
Yeah. Joey's up in Canada with me, fellow Canuck, but he's over in Quebec. He's one province over to the east.
I love how y'all say province because instead of I'm the states and stuff like that. Like
we got provinces and territories up here.
Oh, provinces and territories.
Yeah. And then Ruben saying Shazam by Waid and Moore. I guess Dan Mora. You talking about Dan Mora coming soon? That's gonna be.
I would read that. But Well, Sergio, have you seen the new Shazam movie yet?
No, I haven't. You know, I on it, my man. I've been like stupid, crazy busy these days, man. Like no time to just. But first chance that I get, I do want to watch Shazam, because I love the first film.
I love the first one too. It's underrated, especially my favorite part when he jumps at the building like Shazam and he hits him, he flies off. I
It's
love
great.
this.
Yeah, it's a gem. It's a gem for sure. So have you had the time to watch it, or?
You know what? I was gonna try and hit the matinee, but I hadn't had a chance. So I think my local theater, one of the theaters, they usually do Tuesday matinee prices, and I think I don't have a meeting from work that day, so I may like, all right, we go for lunch and check it out.
Yeah.
As soon as I logged in, I saw DC has failed. I'm like, here we go with this. I'm like, can we at least see the movie first before y'all? I don't know, y'all. I ain't getting this rant, but it's like I feel like we in this phase where people root for stuff to fail now. Like,
it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Man, we used to root for stuff to come out. Now we root for stuff to fail.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very. I think fandom can be very and I'm guilty of it myself. What's the word? Just jaded almost.
Jaded is a great word. I was thinking toxic, but jaded is a better word. Because I mean, it's okay if you don't like everything. Because I don't like everything. And it's okay if you like some things better than others. Sergio.
It's so cold. Listen, that's why I got the toucan and I got the hoodie, because it's something. Every time I shave the beard, I feel like I feel the cold more, man. I step outside and it's just like
the hair is designed to protect you. The hair is designed to keep you warm. Man, you say,
that's what I'm saying, man. It's crazy,
and it's cold here. I mean, like to the point we have to turn our heaters back on, which we shouldn't, but we are.
Yeah. Joey, what are you prepping for, bud? Got to prep for later soon. What you got going on, my man? Let us know. Hey, Marquelon, you know what I did do? So we spoke about Superman last. I didn't prep any slides. Apologies, folks, because it's been one of those weeks for me. Mine's, I should say. But listen, I do want to talk. I don't know if you've checked out these books, but I did get the chance to read Monarch #2.
Okay, I read it.
Hold the clap, because you might not have.
I'm waiting to hear what you're gonna say. I'm waiting to hear what you're gonna say, though.
And then I read another issue #2, which was for Harrower.
I read that too.
Okay, so let's talk about those.
All right, man. I want to hear you, because I know how you on the fence on Monarch, so I want to hear that first.
So you want me to start with Monarch?
I want to start with Monarch.
Okay. And folks, please, if you guys have read Monarch, honestly, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. So I think Monarch was a copper drop selection for us when issue 1 came out.
I think so.
And I ended up voting to cop it, just barely. In all honesty, I was critical of it. I wasn't feeling it too tough, and I'm here to say, based on that, it's Rodney Barnes. You said, I'm gonna give him an issue #2 a shot. Right. The strength of his quality of his work. So I gave it a fair shot, but Marquelon, I'm here to report.
Okay.
I said I can't do it, man.
You can't do it. You can't do it this issue 2.
I can't. It was, and in a large part, I'm gonna keep it 100. The art is just, I am not feeling it at all, man. It is rough.
Sergio, I know you an art guy, bro. I know.
Yeah.
I'm a writing guy, but you're an art guy. I feel that. That's why this work, bro.
Yeah. So, and I don't, mean to, like, I'm not personally knocking the art team, but
it just ain't your thing, man.
It just isn't my thing. I'm not a fan of the caricature style for the main characters. So that's that. In terms of the writing, even to be honest, the writing, what Rodney Barnes does, and I think is great in his other books, is he likes to implement the kind of the back and forth settings, right? Jumping from scene to scene, like the quick cuts, the often, like he'll jump back and forth, you know, a good half dozen times, if not more. You know, in the storytelling. So I don't know what it is. I don't think it's really, my personal opinion is not really that is working with Monarch.
Okay.
I just found the storytelling uh I'm trying to find just the best way to put it. Yeah, just the way that was told sequentially, just kind of a bit jarring, I would say. And then even the writing, I don't know. It was I don't feel like the tone was even with this book, right?
Okay.
Something off. I will say I was intrigued very much by the twist at the
Right.
end of
Right.
issue 2. And
Okay.
maybe I'll let you tell the folks what that is. But I for me it was overwhelmingly things that I didn't enjoy about the book. So that little bit, that cool twist at the end is not enough of a saving grace for me. So for me, I
I
am
mean,
not going to continue this series.
that, that,
But
that that's fair
yeah,
though, man. And
yeah.
I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it, man. So
Mhm,
I mean, that's what I love about House of Nerds. We can just talk about it. We don't like it. We don't like it. But
yeah.
for me, the twist in the end, and I'm
Mhm,
just going to reveal it, is the fact that the little boy that we've been following, I can't think of his name, is actually an alien. That he's actually been planted there by the
mhm,
aliens that are invading the world right now.
mhm.
They help look at an idea of humanity and how to destroy them. I love that twist. That put that in my top 3 for the week right there, man.
Oh, okay.
I
So,
loved it. And then
Marquelon, if you could, why don't you let the folks know then? Give us with the quick premise so they can understand that twist a little bit better. What's Monarch
yeah, I
about?
mean, Monarch is Rodney Barnes, Alan Land's book about an invasion coming to the world, and we're in America, and we're in primarily a black neighborhood. It looks like it'd be Compton or Crenshaw, and
Hmm.
you have this black boy, who's been kind of a foster kid, has been picked on his whole time. He's been staying with this family, this nurse and whatnot, and the invasion has happened, and people are getting got left and right, and you don't know who's alive and who's dead. And in the last issue, he basically went out to try, basically every time some person go out and get help or get supplies, they disappear because the aliens get them. So the same thing happens to this little boy, but we kind of see in the book that he's like getting what we think of it come as alien probing and stuff like that, and it's interspersed with his caretaker, the nurse. It's like interspersed with two things. We get to see his perspective then taken upon the ship being probed by aliens. You kind of get to see what the aliens are kind of decimating humanity, and we get to see his foster mother, the nurse, and her story of how she like saw the aliens before any of this happened.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so I give it a surgery. I'm always trying to like because one, it's rare I get to see a black female getting her voice told. I mean, Rodney Barnes is good at that too. I'm
Hmm.
gonna take this black lady who just in the story, and I'm gonna focus on her for a third of the book. But you're right, it's split between like thirds, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and in the end, it's like basically you found out this black boy's on this ship, and I gotta find what his name is, man. I can't think what his name
It's
is.
Trayvon.
Trayvon,
Trayvon. Yeah.
which I'm sure he's named for Trayvon Martin. And Trayvon's on the ship and stuff, and he's getting all this information, and you learn in the end that basically Trayvon is not human. Trayvon is an alien that's been planted there. And basically the aliens did encounter that nurse, and the nurse told Trayvon the story, but we learned that basically, she they planted Trayvon where the aliens planted Trayvon where they saw the nurse, so the nurse could come in contact with him and become his foster mother, essentially.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's like, okay, we thought they were all separate stories, but they all kind of come together in the end with a twist. And I like that.
Yeah, no, I thought the twist was great, man. It was very interesting. So like you said, Earth is under attack by this alien civilization, and this young man Trayvon and his buddies, they're trying to survive, and it turns out the big twist is Trayvon is actually one of the aliens sent, when he was down to Earth to kind of reconnaissance and learn about humanity and see if we can coexist with this alien race whose home planet has been decimated, right?
Right.
So that was a cool twist. I said, oh shit, like you know. And it I'll say this one.
It got that reaction from you. It got that reaction from you because I was like, oh snap, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, because to his credit, yeah, it was great, and it was so funny because at that very moment, Marquelon, I was like, I'm like, what is going on with this story? Like, where is it going? Like, you know, I still don't know what this book is about, really, right? And then you know, Mr. Barnes, he drops the twist, but for me, yeah, it was just it was a little bit of a, you know, the pros do not outweigh the cons. So but I'm glad you're enjoying it, and it actually made your top three, you said.
It did make my top three,
Whoa, okay, that's cool.
because of that twist. I mean, that
Mhm.
twist pushed it to the top three for me.
Yeah.
And this is what we talked about earlier. This may be some Sergio for you if you can get over the art. Because I understand the art's not necessarily your style.
Mhm.
This may be something you want to go back and read when it's all done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if Rodney Barnes doing this as a mini series or he's going to take this like Philadelphia and go like 25 issues. But we
Yeah.
see how Philadelphia has gone. Philadelphia and Nita House have both gone like they've got their first. They're doing volumes, so like with 6 issues now.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
volume one is first 6 issues. So Monarch may do something similar.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really seen the solicits, whether it's an ongoing or a miniseries. Curious to see. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't. It's, in all honesty, it's highly unlikely I'll continue
He's just
even
highly
as
unlikely.
a as a trade. But I just wanted to point out how great is this variant cover
I love it, man.
for Monarch. Which cover did you end up getting? The A or the B
I
one?
got the main cover, the
You
one
got
where
the main
he's
cover.
yeah,
Yeah.
where he's like that.
Okay. Okay. And okay, and you know what? So I said the other book was Terror number 2.
I want to
So
hear your thing on Hero number 2. Come on,
I want you
Sergio.
to kick it off,
I'm
man.
ready,
Let me know. You said you read it. Like, what are your thoughts on that, bud?
man. I liked it. I
Yeah.
think it made my top 10. Let me look through my stack real quick. I liked it because if y'all don't know, I'm a fight guy. I like action. I like horror for people getting got, and basically people's getting got. We still don't know what the hero is exactly. But we know he shows up this party and all havoc maintains. That's got to be one of the best comic book kills I've ever seen in the end. When people are in their cars and stuff like that, I'm like, what?
Oh, that's yeah, that was crazy. I'm just trying to find here.
Do you have a slide on that? I
I
was like, this
I
is a crazy.
don't. I have the boom the review copy, but I don't I
Yeah,
don't I don't know that I can technically share
you know
full
what?
pages
I'll say
from
this
that.
much, y'all. Follow
Yeah.
follow me on Twitter. We'll get the House of Nerd to retweet it. I'll make a video on the kills for this. I was gotta figure out what music I'm gonna put
Hey,
because I
listen,
like.
we could do like a segment, a separate like recorded, man. Because okay, so I thought here I enjoyed number 1.
Mhm.
And what I said of issue number 1 was a lot of super familiar horror tropes, but it was executed well. It worked. Now, for number 2, it continues to be strong. I very much enjoyed Horror number 2. So the premise on this series, the synopsis, you've got this small town, you've got this almost supernatural being who you see there on the cover, killing off the teenagers, the young adults in the town, the parents. There seems to be some town secret that they're aware of, right? So again, familiar, that is the reason for this supernatural entity kind of killing these guys. We don't know yet what that is after issue 2. There's still the mystery to be unraveled, but I'm enjoying this, man. And you mentioned Markelin, that in this issue, the setting is primarily a house party, right?
Right.
The kids are gathering during the celebration of what did they call this, like, festival, this event?
Yeah, because basically it's
Um,
like from what I can gather, because the first issue here, I had to reread it to kind of get a better
mhm,
idea of it. I mean, even when I was reading, I hadn't reread it with this one
mhm,
yet. But every 10 years, they like gather to like celebrate the people who got killed at this incident. And we know one of the main female characters, her brother was one of the people that was killed in this.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
so, of course, teenagers being teenagers, we're gonna have a party because the trope in horror movies and probably horror comes is, I'm not afraid of this, and let's get together and do drugs and drink and have sex. Because what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
And the dude shows up at the party and starts killing people. That's the worst that can happen.
Yeah. And it's great. I'm sorry. Because how insane. And I remember thinking, I said, this might be the coolest and the most quickest mass slaughter. It really is a mass slaughter. Not to spoil it too much for you guys, but Harrower he does this thing in here, man, and it was done in a really entertaining way. I said how he just like took everybody off the board there, man.
And this is me and Sergio telling, go read this, because sometimes I feel like we hype it up too much, but I'm like, that had to be just I would have never thought about killing that many people in that way. I'd have never thought about that.
Yeah, that was really that was really fun to read, man. So I definitely, folks, if you get the chance, check out Harrower, man. Like I said, it in all honesty, it'll seem familiar to you in the sense that a lot of the story elements have been done, but I think it's done in a way that it's fun and entertaining and
And Sergio, to your point about story elements being done, like, have you seen the new Scream 6 yet?
I haven't. I
did catch the matinee on that, and I did see it, and I liked it.
Okay.
And, to me, it's like, and I think I've seen every Scream at this point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I hadn't seen every Saw, because I compare Scream and Saw, because basically it's people getting gruesomely killed, but it's regular people doing it for the most part,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We talk about what stuff's been done. So I like those kind of movies, not for the violence and the gore and stuff like that, but they try to find new ways to do something that's been done already. I think Harrow is an example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to reveal, the killer of Screams, because we're still recently out, but I'll say as much. When they say I'm something different, I'm like, okay, it is something different. It's something we hadn't quite seen before, but it's a variation.
Yeah.
And I love to go to stuff like that, because I'm trying to figure out, well, who's the killer? Who's the killer? Who's the killer? Mm-hmm. And they did some very interesting things to keep you off of the killer in Scream 6.
Yeah. And it's so funny that you're bringing up Scream, because I did definitely get some Scream vibes.
Exactly.
From this book. It is like a hack slash style of story here, guys, and Justin Jordan on writing duties. Actually, I think it's co-written by Justin Jordan and or is Bram? No, Bram Revell is the artist.
Yeah, Bram Revell. I'm liking this, and I think I said last time, Justin Jordan, he wrote the Luther Strode series, which I think I discovered after they'd been collected in trade.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that, man. I was like, okay. And that's the great thing about comics, y'all. Y'all will find something that's been out for a while. I'm like, man, this is really good. I had no idea.
That's the best. It's a great feeling, man. Yeah, it's a great feeling. Yeah, even the art. The art, I think, is a little understated.
Right? Here we go, Sergio, the art analysis. I love it, though. I love it, bro. You're like, here we go.
But it works, man. It works. It's got from the color palette and everything. I think folks, you guys will enjoy this one. Boom Studios, they put out quality titles, man. So,
man, Boom been in the game for a while now. Remember when? Yeah, I think I remember when Boom first started with I thought first time I Boom title I heard about was what's the one that Mark Waid did? Inconceivable, Incorruptible was the spinoff title from it.
Mark Waid Boom book.
Yeah, where basically was a Superman trope where the guy, the hero, went crazy.
Yeah.
Incorruptible was a spinoff. Mm-hmm. It was called Inconceivable or something like that.
Yeah,
they were advertising Mark Waid is evil. I remember the advertisement in older comic books, like Mark Waid is evil. Check out this book coming out.
Bye, Miss Film Noir, Kitchen Dude. Enjoy the Sunday for sure. And listen, sorry I missed this earlier, Ruben. Apologies. He's got a question for you, bud. Mark, did you read the new Predator?
I did read the new Predator. I enjoy it, man. I enjoy the new Predator. So the first thing I thought was we're tied into the Predator movie that Adrian Brody did.
Oh,
that was my first start reading that. You know, but then we didn't necessarily tie into it. They had a twist on that. They had a twist. It was the same premise, but it was a twist.
Okay.
But then you got another final twist. You know, we read this other Predator series, which everybody enjoyed. You know, everybody enjoyed it. And I thought, okay, you know, I thought Predator was gonna be like Alien it was doing, like, oh, we're gonna do this story arc, people enjoy it, we move to another story arc, you know, kind of like an anthology series. But then they tied it back into the previous Predator arc too. I was like, okay. So yeah, Ruben, I did enjoy it. I feel you on that. I think is that Ed Brisson, I think, doing that one.
I believe so, yeah. Ed Brisson, yeah. Yeah. And they keep I noticed that with the Alien and the Predator, like they do like 8 or 10 issues and then they go back to number 1. You do 8 or 10 and back to 1. Like,
well, you know, as my friend Kevin used to say, you know, he's a Savannah comic artist, and he's like, you know, it's about creating seasons in comic books now. So he has a, you know, degree, master's in sequential art and design.
I guess, yeah.
And he says they create seasons of comic books now. You know, so it's Predator Volume 2.
Yeah,
issue 1 now.
Got you. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's like another marketing kind of tactic, right? To get guys.
Number ones always sell, man, because everybody's like, oh, it's a number 1. You know that. But speaking of which, you see they're doing a Planet of the Apes number 1.
Planet of the Apes?
Planet of the Apes. I just saw it. I was reading something today. I think David Walker, who basically just won the, you know, who co-won the Eisner for Bitterroot a couple years ago.
Okay.
He's going to be doing Planet of the Apes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, because, you know, I forgot Disney got all these titles from when they got Fox.
Oh, Fox. Know? Yeah.
So they got Aliens, they got Predator.
That's right.
And they got Aliens, Predator, and Planet of the Apes. I don't think they have Terminator. I don't think they have Terminator, do they?
Terminator. I feel like Terminator's IDW for some reason.
Irredeemable. Wait, hold up. I saw it.
Oh, there.
Now, you have to look at it. Yes, it was Irredeemable.
Okay,
that was it.
Joey knows this stuff.
Yeah, Joe knows this stuff because, you know, I'll be watching the chats. I'll be blowing my screen up so I can see when you put screens up, so I don't see it. So I should be looking at time.
Okay. Yeah.
Man.
No, but Planet of the Apes. When is that dropping?
I don't know, man. I literally just saw it. I you know, when I was you know, because people always ask me how I read my comics so many comics a week. I read them in the morning before I get started. That's how I do it a lot of times.
Oh, really? Okay.
So like, I'll be reading my comic books. So I saw it, but I'm sure it's coming out in April or May.
Okay. I feel like that's going to be a pretty big book.
I mean, I hadn't seen the last Planet of the Apes movie because, you know, have you seen all the Planet of the Apes, the last Planet of the Apes trilogy?
Yeah, I have with the guy who did the Batman. They were really good, man. Really good.
Yeah. So
what's his name? Who's the Batman director?
You talking about Nolan?
No, the latest Batman with
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves did the Planet of the Apes trilogy. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I saw the first one, the first part of the trilogy with James Franco, and I did enjoy it. But they kind of hit too close to home, man.
Yeah.
Especially we were a couple years out from this pandemic hitting.
Oh shit! True. I see what you're saying.
Hell no. Man.
Yeah. No, it was good. And actually, I just saw the other day that they're gonna create more sequels for Planet of the Apes. So, curious. I'm definitely gonna check those one. I enjoy that IP there, man. Mark, anything else that you read this week? Any standouts, man?
You know what, Sergio? I'm surprised you didn't talk about this. No One by Kyle Higgins and Brian Buccellato from Image. And I saw Kyle Higgins. I think he was on Twitter like, I'm gonna call my shot on this one. This is about to be your number 1. I was like, oh, okay, I like that confidence.
Yeah.
You know? He was hella confident about it, but you know, that actually did take my number 1 spot.
It did, eh?
It did because it was so unique. I mean, basically, it's a podcast inside of a comic book. And you know, the basic premise, you got this killer. Well, I'm assuming it's a killer. You don't even know who the killer is. You got somebody killing people. And and it's like a hacktivist kind of person killing people, and it's a mystery because the person who's been arrested for the murders is already in jail, but new people are getting murdered, and we already know there are 2 copycats of this. There are at least 2 copycats by the first page. I don't know about the first 5 pages. Wait a minute, we got a killer, somebody getting murdered, but he shouldn't have got murdered because the person who got arrested for doing the murders is in jail. But we already know there've been at least 2 copycats of this person.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a reporter doing investigation. And in the back, they have like a podcast, like it's like a podcast liner notes and stuff like that. So you have the investigation from the police side and from a journalist side. It's just a really just neat concept. Because I think as a QR reader, you can actually scan with your phone and listen to the podcast on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, okay,
that's pretty cool.
Idea.
Whoa, okay. I didn't know.
The girl I've been dating, she watches all like YouTube murder stuff all day long. I'm like, you stop doing that's bad for your spirit, but she does it. So it's a market for that. Court TV proves there's a market for that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if you're saying it's number 1, I'm gonna check it out, man.
It's number 1, man. I mean,
really? Whoa.
The concept is so unique to me. I just had to rewarded for his ingenious, man. I mean,
like that. I had to reward.
I mean, I did. I had to reward
it. Okay, I'm with it. And I didn't know. Brian Buccellato is co-writer on this.
Yeah, because Brian Buccellato,
Chicken Devil.
I know I know him most recently for Chicken Devil. Yeah, Chicken Devil.
Yes. Yeah. What else is it? Chicken Devil. Yeah, there you go. Right. That's his biggie, man. So okay. No one. All right, man. Now
no one. I mean, it's a unique concept of comics, and like we were talking today with horror tropes. You've seen it all before, but this is something different. I got a reward for being something different.
So hold up. Is this tied into the Massiverse?
I believe so. They keep advertising like it's so, but I mean, but no one. I'm like nobody talked about Radiant Black or Rogue Sun or any of this stuff in this issue. It seems to be based in real world stuff. Hey, we got this guy who's killing people. Yeah, and we arrested the guy. So that should have solved it, but that didn't solve it. So what's going on for it?
So it's tied into the mass. Yeah, because would you say? I mean, just from the synopsis, it sounds tonally different than like the Massiverse stuff.
Yeah, because I consistently read Radiant Black. I think I read Radiant Red. I don't think I picked a Radiant. I read some of Rogue Sun. But it's like I'm following up. But Radiant Black is pretty much I'm following, and this may be on the level of Radiant Black for me because Radiant Black gives you enough and they make you come back. It gives you enough and make you come back. I mean, okay, I know what they're doing. They're like, oh, we'll give you enough to make you come back.
See, not to be honest, that's kind of putting me off. Like I really like. Then I almost feel like I have to read or at least be familiar with the other Massiverse universe stuff, which I'm not, or just vaguely familiar. So, but if it's like within the universe and it's kind of standalone-ish, though, I mean, that could be.
From what I see, Sergio, it's standalone, but I would love to see your take on this because, like I said, the concept is unique to me. I'm like, okay,
all right, I'm gonna check it out. I'll check it out, Marquelon. If it made it your number 1, then for good reason.
Yeah, I mean, and my number 2 is Captain America's Symbol of Truth, number 11. Just because, man, we don't get to see enough Sam Wilson, kicking ass. I mean, he did it. I feel like I was watching a movie, and people have been talking about, man, Sam Wilson got to have some kind of super soldier serum in his blood and stuff he's been doing in his book. I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, it may be illogical, but I'm loving to see him doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he didn't get enough shine as Captain America, even though we build into this new Captain America movie coming out.
Marquelon, that dropped this past week. I don't see.
Yeah, that dropped this past week. Man.
Where is that at? Captain America. Oh, there we go. Here, let me pull that one up. Yeah, Symbol of Truth. Here, let's screen share that. Who's writing this one?
I can't even pronounce this guy's name. His last name is Oyubuchi. Let me look at it real quick. I got my issue right here. Toti Oyebuchi, and artist is RB Silva.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, Tochi Onyebuchi. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha.
I'm sure that sounds like a Nigerian name. So
Oh, okay.
And I just really like, I mean, it's this big action. The White Wolf, who was traditionally a Black Panther villain, is fighting Captain America: Symbol of Truth and Sam Wilson, and they just went at it, man. Just fisticuffs the whole issues. And I love a good fight issue, man.
All right. Okay. And what made your number 3 then? So we got you
So
1, 2, 3.
So Monarch was my number 3. Then we took them out of order.
Oh, Monarch was your 3. Okay.
Yeah, Monarch was my number 3.
Okay.
And an honorable mention is Wolverine. Wolverine. I don't know what issue is this, because I got the white Emma Frost cover. Wolverine number 31 by Ben Percy. Ben Percy, Juan Jose Rip as the artist. Because
basically you're still writing that, eh?
Yeah. I mean, basically, everybody's on this whole Beast is evil. Beast is evil. Beast is basically the new Magneto at this point. That's what he is now.
What? No way.
And I doubt we'll ever see people that Magneto or Beast was right. But Beast is like, look, man, I'm gonna protect Krakoa no matter what I gotta do, who I gotta kill, who I gotta manipulate, but it's gonna be protected. And I'm just, basically the last issue. I mean, it's been a month, y'all. So Wolverine killed Beast, but Beast had killed Wolverine before, and we still in this age of resurrection and stuff like that. But Beast is like, he came back and like, all right, I'm gonna show y'all my master plan now. And he had a dig to the Avengers, and he had a line here like, because for y'all, those of you not following X-Men, basically they're able to come back because there's a backup of their consciousness, now their memories and stuff like that. Well, apparently the Beast pulled his backup, all his backups in this issue, with the exception of his time in the Avengers, which is why some people love Beast. And like, well, no, the Beast in the Avengers would never do this. He would never do this. I'm like, well, he doesn't value those members of being in the Avengers and being best friends with Wonder Man. And then he's like, okay.
That's wild. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. Beast is a villain, eh?
Beast is an anti-hero. I ain't gonna call him a villain. I mean, but he won't hesitate to kill people and experiment on them. I mean, he's definitely Dark Beast adjacent now.
Dark Beast adjacent.
Dark Beast adjacent.
Ruben asking you what's hot in Marvel right now.
I don't know. I mean, also maybe that Sense of Sinister. Did you ever read that Sense of Sinister we talked about a couple weeks ago?
Oh no, I didn't, my man. I never got around to that. No, that was the prelude to which one, bud?
Yeah, that was that's a series, Sense of Sinister. But I got that Immortal X-Men number 2 with Kieran Gillian is the writer, Gillian, and D. Vito is the artist. So I mean, that Sense of Sinister has been hot because basically it's almost a sci-fi story. It's like for you old school people, well, I guess old school's the 90s now, but hang on one sec, Sergio. I gotta move real quick because my thing is about to unplug. My battery's going in.
What? And then I think oh, sorry, what were we gonna say, bud?
I think I can catch it though. Give me one sec.
Yeah. Ruben's gotta save the battery pack. Oh man. And you know what? I'll take this opportunity, folks. The Copper Drop winner with from a vote of 70% to 30 is Pop-Up number 1 from Blood Moon Comics. There you go, folks. I'm gonna check it out. If you see it on the rack, why not give it a shot, man? Like I said, super indie publisher. It sounds cool, man. It sounds cool. So this is the winner there, Marquelon. Pop-Up.
All right, Pop-Up Exhibit A, the gruesome. Ooh, that looks scary.
Yeah.
I love the horror, and I love how horror comics have had such a resurgence over the years, man.
Horror's all over the place. So Marquelon, we got the review copy. I don't think you're here next week, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, whether it's on the socials or maybe just.
Well, you know what? Let me come in. Let me dip in briefly next week because I'm gonna be traveling soon.
Okay.
So I like to get in with the House of Nerd family when I get a chance.
Okay.
So I mean, I will see if I can get that read that review copy.
Hey, there you go, my man.
You know,
there you go. Yeah, and if you can pop in,
I'll pop
for
it.
sure.
Now that I know how the system works, like I popped in today. Oh snap! They've already started. Oh snap! I'm like, oh, the damn time change, and I keep forgetting you on Eastern, and I'm on Central.
Yeah,
because theoretically, this would have been our time 2 weeks ago.
yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that, folks, for you. Oh man. Hey, listen, I just want a quick shout out to everybody in the chat who's hung out with us today, man. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it, man. You guys make this so much fun each and every week, and I'm glad Marquelon was able to come through and hear your thoughts on Lost, Superman Lost #1. Folks, go out and cop it, man. I think you guys are gonna dig it. Definitely.
I think. I mean, like I said, but I give you my thing on it. I mean, there's so many good comics. I had a big week, a bigger week than I thought I was gonna have. Really, I did. I mean, Moon Knight. Let me ask you a surgery before we go. Moon Knight and Devil Dinosaur. Did you watch that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur? Did you watch that on Disney Plus yet?
No, I haven't. No.
I think that is this generation's Static Shock, because kids grew up watching Static Shock and being exposed. I think Disney's replicated that with Moon Girl on Disney Plus. And the comic is just as good, but it's different. Okay. Because I'm like, I watched all those episodes. I'm like, all right. And I read the comic. This is different. It's the same character, but it's different.
Yeah. I've heard good things about the Moon Girl show. I haven't had the opportunity. To be honest, I probably won't check it. I just too much content out there, man. I gotta pick and choose wisely, though. So.
I'm behind. I think I've watched everything but this week's episode of The Flash and this week's episode of The Mandalorian.
You know what I did have time for, though, Marquelon? I caught catching up on Wu-Tang, baby, American Saga.
Oh man, Wu-Tang! Did you see this week's episode?
I saw last week's with Rodney Barnes made the little cameo.
Yeah,
he's the dead cop. That was hilarious, man. But how great was that episode, bud?
I like it, man. Cuban links, man. For Raekwon,
classic.
I mean, that's a classic album for a lot of hip hop heads, man. I was a kid, so I didn't really understand what was going on then. But like, the older people, like your uncles and cousins and stuff, be bumping that stuff. Like,
yeah.
But now going back and seeing that show, like, oh, okay, I get it now.
It's almost you get a deeper appreciation, right? For but it's really cool, folks. If you have the opportunity, check out Wu-Tang American Saga, man. I've been digging it.
This week's episode may be my favorite episode. It's not like the Cuban links. It's not a whole we finna go a different direction.
Yeah.
But it's like this is kind of really broke them up. Well, I'm gonna say break them up, but it's like you get to see perspective of because every episode kind of focus on different people. It focuses on the brother Divine, his RZA's brother Divine is the manager, and the stuff he has to do, kind of wrangling them all together. I'm like, man, it's
cold, sir. It's cold without the beard, man. It's just I feel so drafty. It feels so drafty. Hey, but it's about that time, folks. Next week we're reading Pop Up from Blood Moon Comics. Be sure to join us for more comics and shenanigans. More comics and shenanigans. And we'll see if I have to do Alice's schedule next week. So we'll see if I'm doing the first hour on my own. It was so weird, bro. I felt so weird because I'm there like I'm trying to watch the comments and then I'm trying to like
man. Like I said, the time change real because I was like, you're on time.
It's all good, bro.
But now it's from there. But Sergio is an hour ahead of me. Even though because I have my alarm still set up and everything. I went to church and made it back in time and everything. I said, okay.
Man. Look at this. Get out of here. She comes in right at the end. You weirdo. Elle, are you with us next week or did you? I don't know.
Delay is not denial.
Yeah. Pat says I look good without the beard. Oh, tell Pat thank you. Tell Pat thank you. I look like a child, man. A little baby boy.
When I was in college, when people shaved their face, they called them butt face.
A butt face?
Yeah, that's a butt face.
Al confirmed she is with us next week. Al, we're reading Pop Up from Blood Moon Comics. We got the review copy, so make sure you check it out. Make sure you check it out. All right, folks. Let me look for that. Any final thoughts before we get out of here? I'm about to hit the intro.
Man, just it's a pleasure as always, man, talking comments with y'all. You know,
Yes,
make sure y'all retweet this, you know, y'all share the link, you know, sit down on all your socials and stuff like that, man. You know, House of Nerd going worldwide, baby.
I love it. I love it. Yes, Marquelon. And we're out, baby. Tune in next Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, folks. Appreciate you guys. Great community. You guys make it so much fun. And we out of here, baby. Have a dope Sunday, folks. And